All right, we're going to continue with Decoding the Bible. My name is Judson Powell. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the notification button. Just start hitting buttons. All right. Anyway, yesterday some people, of course, whenever you do stuff like this, you're going to get religious people and you're going to get haters and you're going to get all kind of stuff. So I'm not really surprised by that. And as a matter of fact, it kind of does my heart good because it lets me know that I'm actually doing the right thing. So I'm pulled into the gas station right now. So I'm gonna hurry up, try to get this 20 minutes in. But anyway, so one of the things that they tried to say that I was unintelligent because I was talking about astrology and astro-theology. And basically, they tried to tell me that it was the same thing, but it really isn't. And so I'm going to, first of all, so for my haters, I'm going to explain to you what the difference is. And the difference is that in astrology has nothing to do with science. All right. Astrology is not science. All right. It's completely spiritual. So, and the reason why, and the way you could do math and science, okay, and this is how you can tell the difference. Math and science, if you do the same experiment with the same variables, you will get the exact same result every single time. So if I do 2 plus 2, it's always going to equal 4. If I do 1 plus 3, it's always going to equal 4. Okay, and so that's a very simplistic thing, but the same thing works out with formulas or any type of scientific experiment. Just like in mathematics, what if it's an equation, what's on one side of the equation has to be on the other side of the equation. All right, so that's the difference. That's one of the differences. Okay, so astrology is not a science, although astro-theology, because we start talking about the universal laws, the 13 sacred keys, all of those things are scientific. So for example, yesterday I used the example of gravity. All right, if I throw a rock up in the air, it comes back down because of gravity. And it doesn't matter where I am, it doesn't matter how I do it. If I drop a rock from 5 feet, it's going to fall and it's going to hit the ground no matter who drops it, where it's dropped on the earth. It's going to have the exact same thing. The same thing is true with the law of polarity, any of the other spiritual laws. They are laws, and the reason why they are laws is because no matter what, they are going to affect it the same. They're going to be affected the same way every single time. All right, so, and that is the difference. And with astrology, the other thing with astrology is there are literally like 25 different disciplines of astrology. And the other thing about astrology is it can either be for things that are going on in the universe. It can explain how the universe is moving, how it's evolving, and it can also explain relationships or relational astrology, where it can tell you how you will get along with somebody else. So, and most people, that know about some astrology, like they want to know, well, I'm a Cancer, will I get along with a Sagittarius? That kind of thing. But you can actually look that kind of stuff up. And if you know astrology, then you can actually look that kind of stuff up. But it is not an exact science, right? It's not science because it's not exact, because there could be a variable that'll be different, or that person's personality could be affected by other things besides the planet. All right, besides the planets or besides the moon or the sun or whatever. So you have to understand that is the difference. All right, so astro-theology, okay, it determines how things in the universe are structured in order to deal with what we call God or the Most High. All right, so the Most High is absolutely affected by what goes. Just like, once again, another example I used yesterday, the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. It does that every single day, no matter what. All right, we have the 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall. We have all of these different things, and they occur. They occur faithfully without fail. And if they fail, then that means that what? That it wouldn't be scientific. Okay, so we know, or seed time, things like, even things that are used in the church, like seed time and harvest. Okay, you sow a seed, you plant, you water it, you give it sunlight, and then what? The next thing you know, you have the plant. All right, and that's scientific. Why? Because it works the same way no matter the circumstances. If you keep the circumstances the same every single time, it will happen the same way every single time. All right. So we know that certain things, deal with, and that's why we always talk about the Most High, and the fact that the Most High is based on scientific things, on scientific facts. The Most High is not based on religion. The Most High is not based on, God said this or God said that or this, that, and the other thing. Why? Because it's not able to be proven every single time that you get the same result every single time. And that's how you know that most religion is not true. What happens when you do something in the Christian church and it fails? What do they tell you? You didn't have enough faith. Or you might be the most faithful person in the world, and you're all, because the religion is designed so that you're always lacking something. All right, it's designed that way. It's designed just like the enemy. There's always an enemy in every situation. There has to be an enemy. If there's no enemy, then you have nothing to overcome, or you have nothing to break through. Right? So everything that so they tell you, oh, well, that, that's the devil, or that's Satan, or that's Lucifer, or that's whoever, but that's only a level of what? It's a level of consciousness within your own spirit. All right. It's a vibration within your own spirit. It's a level of consciousness, a level of vibration, a level of consciousness, a level of your spirit. All right. And when you start to vibrate above those levels of consciousness, right, then they don't affect you anymore. And in fact, if nobody ever told you about it, it would have never, ever even affected you. Okay. And that's why you have to be careful, the things that you say, the things that you do, the things that you speak over people, all of those things are very important. Why? Because we are manifestors. And that's why I keep telling you, you are what? You are generators, operators, and destroyers. And this right here, all right. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do it this time, but on the next segment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start breaking the Bible down verse by verse. Okay. Which I have done many times. All right. So this is nothing that's new to me. It's just that it's the things that people don't realize what are there and how it is affecting you. So when they say, just like, for example, when they encoded the Bible, that's why I was trying to let you know you are God. So when you read those words in the Bible, it's not talking about something outside of you. It's talking about something inside of you. It's not talking about something that's up in the sky, some magical, mystical thing. It's talking about you. Okay. Every time they say something or whatever, they are literally talking about you. And that is the difference. So the people that understand the codus in scriptus, the code written in, those people that understand that code, they have an advantage over you. They really do. And the reason why they have an advantage over you is because they understand that these things are not talking about mythological, or historical or anything like that. What they're talking about is these are metaphors and they're allegories for things that are actually happening and taking place within the universe. All right. And certain things that take place in the universe are scientific. And what did I just tell you? When something is scientific, that means that if it were given the same variables and the same thing is performed every single time, the outcome will be the same. And so that's how come that you know that religion is not true. Religion is not true because if you have because the variables, even if you put in the same variables, it won't be the same for different people. the outcome won't be the same for different people. And then, like I said, and then they come up with all these different things. Oh, well, you didn't have enough faith, or you didn't pray enough, or you didn't do this enough, or you didn't do that enough. Not true. Because if it's scientific and the Most High created it, then it treats everybody and everyone equally. So and I used the example yesterday of what? There's nothing new under the sun, and the sun shines on the just and the unjust. And God, I'm just going through Christian scriptures. What? And God, God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So if God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, that's scientific. That means it's not going to change. And so when people come out and say, so the things that are oxymoronic or things that are not true, he says, well, I'm going to do a new thing. No, he's not going to do a new thing. Why? Because it's not going to change. It's not, because it's scientific. All right. And so that's why I keep trying to tell everybody, it's like, look, you can figure this stuff out just by using common sense. But see, the stuff that I'm preaching and the stuff that I'm teaching is not for everybody, because a lot of people are just too religiously indoctrinated and they'll never get it. They're not going to get it, and they don't want to get it because they feel comfortable within the microcosm of religion. So after you start feeling comfortable within the microcosm of religion, it doesn't do any good. You've already been programmed. You've been mind controlled, brainwashed, and now you have cognitive dissonance. That's what's going on, because you don't want to believe the truth, and then the other thing is, and then all of the things that I'm talking about, they're documented. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go look it up. And there are a number of theological colleges and universities throughout the world that have all of the things that people are talking about, as far as the creation of Christianity, the creation of Jesus, the creation of all of these things. They're all documented. The church did it. It wasn't, this was not, and all these things. Every single religion has somebody that has some kind of boof epiphany, like it's like, okay, all of a sudden, I looked up in the sky and I saw such and such and such and such. Well, what makes their vision any different from your vision if you saw something? And so people try to tell you, they say, well, I had a dream, or I had this, or I had whatever. It doesn't matter. All right? Because the Most High is consistent. The Most High is not going to, and the other thing is, all of this stuff about chosen people, there are no chosen people. Everybody is the same. Even when the founders of the United States of America, what is the preamble to the Constitution say? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed with certain unalienable rights, right? The life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's everybody. That ain't, and when they took away those rights from certain classes or certain groups of people, all that's doing is saying, they did that. That's not God. You see what I'm saying? So they realized who God is, and they realized what God is, or what the Most High is. And then even the stuff, and I'll show you how they flip the script with gender, with race, with everything else, because all of those things, so your religion can't possibly be true, because the same people, okay, even within the scriptures, what does it talk about? It talks about mixed, even when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, what did they come out of Egypt? It said they came out with a mixed multitude. So if you bred, just like I'm not completely 100% African, I know that because of my skin color that I've got European in me. So the European part is in me just as well as the African part is. There's nothing that I can do about it. But the bottom line is, but I'm treated differently because of the African part, and I'm not treated special because of the European part. You see what I'm saying? So you got to realize that all of these things, they exist, but the only thing that keeps you from anything is when you realize what the Most High is. And the Most High treats everybody equally. Just like even the thing about like I read this thing about Fantasia yesterday and talking about she submitted to this man. Why? You are just as much goddess as he is. He's nothing to submit to. Why would you submit to him? You gave birth to men. So if you gave birth to men, then why in the world, if you gave birth to men, why would you submit to a man that you created? You created man. Okay? And if you look at the ancients tell you straight up that you created man. So if you created man, why would you submit to something that you created? It doesn't, see, that's what I'm trying to say. You got to start thinking and using your head, because when you don't think, guess what? It's just like Brother Bird used to tell me all the time. He used to tell me and another friend of mine all the time. He said, look, if you don't have a plan, then somebody's got a plan for you. That's no joke. So that's why you got, especially, and I'm not racist, or I'm not trying to, affect anybody differently, but look, especially people, Africans and people of African descent, you have got to start using your head and start thinking for yourself, and stop letting that book think for you, because that book is not thinking for you. That book is thinking for white supremacy and white manifest destiny. That's what it is. And the way you know that that's what it is, remember, the first thing I started off by saying is what? You are a manifester. So if you're a manifester and you are manifesting, those things, the stuff that they put in those books, they're manifesting. You know that it's true. And when I say that, people get mad. You say, oh, people get mad. You say, oh, well, the Bible is a book of incantations, spells, and all of this stuff against the indigenous people of the earth. And it is. And it has worked for the supremacists. It has. The Trail of Tears, smallpox in blankets, the Tuskegee experiment. I can go on slavery, Jim Crow, the Black Codes. I mean, you can go on and on. All of the lynchings, the hangings, the destruction of Black Wall Street, everything that and then they start talking about, the Deuteronomy, blessings and curses, Deuteronomy 28, the blessings and the curses. Well, guess what? If you read those blessings and curses, you ain't the blessed one. You the cursed one if you are African or African descent. Think about it. Don't just take my word for it. Go read it. And then when you read it, decipher it and then think for yourself. Because you are what? You are God as well. You are a generator. You are an operator. You are a destroyer. All right? And that's what they did. They created this world. They created the new world. They created the new world order, and then people are saying, and they stole it all from the indigenous people. They figured out, hey, look, they're successful. They built the pyramids. They built all these great civilizations. They civilized, the Moors civilized Europeans. Europeans were cave dwellers until the Moors came along and civilized them. Read your history, and then after that, from that point on, they stole everything that the Moors taught them, and everything that they could find from African, Mayan, Aboriginal civilizations all across the world. And now we got people walking around talking about that they not even African. It's like, really? Okay, so whatever, it is whatever. But if you're a hater of mine, that's great. I don't really care, unless you want to come over here and pay my mortgage. But other than that, absent that, guess what? I really could care less. Because I'm trying to do this to wake people up that have been asleep for 400 years, and wake them up to the real truth and the real knowledge of what's going on out there. And like I said, and I'm not non-studied. Scholarship is one of the principles that I live by, that I live and I die by. So scholarship is very important. So regardless of what you say, I'm going to keep on doing this. And even if and if I really am wrong and there's something that I need to be corrected about, then do it out of love. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it. Like, subscribe, hit the buttons, notification. I love you.